couple of years ago, I was having a meeting with somebody that works in football, and I'm obviously not going to tell you who they are because why the hell would I do that? Why the hell would I do that? But this is my profession. I work as a presenter and a content producer, so I'm meeting new people all of the time. So anyways, I'm there having my cappuccino with oat milk because some of us are lactose intolerant, and this individual reached into their bag, took out a tin can, opened the tin can, took out this mystery product and placed it between their gum and their upper lip without even breaking a sweat, and carried on with the conversation like it was perfectly normal. Now, I'm really good in social settings. I'm really good with social cues. So visually, I didn't give anything away. I didn't think much of it. Internally and in my mind as it was happening, I was thinking, what the just happened? That was the first time I had ever seen anybody take snus. Snus. Now, without saying too much, I have worked in the media and music industry for quite some time now. Over a decade, actually. So I've seen quite a few things in my time. I've seen quite a few things. You can read between the lines. Pun very much intended. But that was the very first time I had ever seen snus. And I was confused. I'm still confused right now. Anyway, I have my meeting. I carry on with my life. I carry on with my day. And it's almost as if after that meeting, everywhere I went, I just kept seeing snus. It's like when you miss one bus and then 5 pull up 5 minutes later in quick succession, and all of a sudden I kept seeing people with these small circular tin cans and these tiny sachets dropped everywhere. It seemed like everybody was doing snus but me, especially the footballers. By the way, I haven't tried it. I don't intend to try it. I'm not interested in trying it. I'm just very much fascinated by this product. So on today's episode of Small Talk, I'm asking one very simple question. When the did everybody start doing snus? Hi, my name is Ore. I am a presenter, broadcaster, cultural commentator, and all-round creative idiot. And welcome back to Small Talk. This is where I sit in my bed and dissect the world of news, sport, politics, entertainment, popular culture, fashion, and everything in between, but aim to dig that a little bit deeper than beneath the surface. By the way, if you are from Sweden, Norway, or any of those Scandinavian countries, just click off the video right now because this is of no use to you whatsoever. You guys have been doing snus since the 1700s. It's almost like telling an Englishman about beans on toast or Nigel Farage about racism. So let's do a deep dive because I actually want to know how we even got here. Snus is an oral tobacco product made up of ground tobacco, and the pouches look similar to a small tea bag and are usually placed between the upper lip and the gums. From there, it will release nicotine into the bloodstream. Now, like most things in human history, snus's origins start with theft and pillaging. So I don't know if you know, but there was this guy called Christopher Columbus, and he discovered America, and he discovered all of these new cultures, these new foods, these new lands, and he went over there and essentially claimed these things as his own. On one of his many voyages to the New World, Columbus discovered some dry leaves that the Native Americans were using at the time. And what these individuals were doing, they were rolling these leaves and setting it alight and then inhaling the smoke. And Columbus, he took a liking to this product and invited all of his colonial chums to come over, take what they can and send it back to Europe. So the Portuguese, the Spanish, they took the tobacco plant back to Europe, and it would end up spreading across the continent, ultimately making its way to Sweden at the end of the 1500s. Now, for whatever reason, this plant became the plaything of the aristocrats in the 1700s, and it was then considered a luxury product. And as a result of this, snuff, as it was called back then, was mainly used by members of the upper class. Now, fast forward to 19th century Sweden, snus found a new role amongst the working class people as the nation shifted from farming to industry. And farmers were grinding tobacco into damp paste, letting it ferment and tucking it under their lip whilst working long hours. And the nicotine gave them a calm buzz. Snus became the social norm in the country, and they were popping pouches every day like Bonnie Blue pops. No, I'm better than that. It became the nicotine of the everyday man. It was cheaper, quieter, and more discreet than smoking. So fast forward to the 2010s, companies started releasing these tobacco-free nicotine pouches, which gave the same buzz but didn't have the leaf. Now, they are marketed with clean design, minty flavors, and names that almost sound like some random tech startup. Zyn, Velo, Nordic Spirit. It's nicotine that has been rebranded as a lifestyle. Then, footballers entered the chat. Now, depending on how old you are, footballers make everything look cool. Today I'm filming this, David Beckham got a knighthood. I've never wanted a knighthood in my entire life, but Sir David Beckham sounds cool. It sounds cool. To me, footballers are the real influencers, because Lionel Messi could quite literally sell water from the river, put it in a bottle, and some idiot in some part of the world would part with their hard-earned cash just to buy it. And in football, snus has been the biggest open secret. I'd even go as far as saying, aside from boots and shin pad, which are the two things that you need to play football on a pitch, snus is like the third most important product that a footballer would bring with them on a match day. A 2024 PFA study found that nearly 1 in 5 professional footballers in the UK use either snus or nicotine pouches. That is 20% of the elite game. The report suggests that usage figures of snus are likely to be higher because most players probably don't even want to disclose the fact that they use the product. And there isn't really a definitive pinpoint when this became popularized in football. It kind of just showed up one day. Maybe you could, blame the Scandinavian players that have come to play football in England because, as we've already discussed, it is a bit of a cultural norm over there. And in Sweden specifically, there is a perception that snus enhances performance. And we haven't actually got any scientific evidence to back that up, but we are going to get to that point a little bit later in this episode. But now that we are here, let's actually discuss, why do footballers actually use snus? What does it actually do for them? Well, taking it back to that PFA survey, the first reason why some players use snus is that they believe it helps them to calm down and helps them to relax. I'm not an elite level footballer. Clearly, look at me, but I've been around elite level footballers and I know that football at the highest level takes a toll on you. It is a lot, from intense schedules to traveling to different countries, media obligations, high level performance pressure. It requires a lot, and I know it's not the hardest job in the world. They are not saving lives, they are not the most important people in the planet, but they serve a purpose, and to get to that level requires a level of diligence, hard work, and insane work ethic. You don't make it to the 0.001% by chance. You must be talented to get there. Sometimes the players might just want to chill out, like you and I. I wouldn't use snus to chill out, but if that's their method, so be it. Like, they obviously can't do the hard stuff. I'm not trying to get demonetized. So this harmless, discreet pouch that they put in their gums, if that does the job, then so be it. Some players even believe that snus gives them a subtle boost in terms of mental readiness and focus. Remember earlier in this episode when I said football players are incredibly influential? Well, they're not just influencing the wider world, they're also influencing younger players in the changing room, because younger players often pick up habits from the senior pros, whether they are good habits or bad habits. And the changing room, locker room culture plays a part in all of this. Many players have reported that they have seen senior players using snus, and those senior players have encouraged the younger players to try it. So there is that peer pressure, social element that comes to it. Also, nicotine doesn't show up when players get drug tested. It's not classified as a banned substance, so technically, it's fair game. Hey, so super quick one. If you are enjoying the video, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel. I have been back on YouTube posting consistently for the last 10 months now, and the feedback and the response has been nothing short of amazing. So if you have ever watched a video, liked the video, commented on the video, engaged in the video, I can't express my thanks enough. I really do appreciate it. There is a new video on my channel every single week. And as I said, I cover everything from music, sport, entertainment, popular culture, the lot. We are very much an open book over here. So make sure you subscribe so then that way you don't miss out on any of the good content that is on the way. Anyways, back to the video. So to some people, snus seems healthier than smoking, but at the end of the day, it is still nicotine and it's still addictive. And studies have linked long-term use of snus to throat cancer, gum disease, and increased heart risk. So while it is not as damaging as smoking, it's hardly spinach and electrolytes. And as I said, addiction is very real. That PFA study is so interesting because it really gives us an insight into how football reflects wider society, because more than half the male users in the survey and almost 3/4 of the female users report elements of nicotine dependence, such as cravings and using without awareness or intention. That is addiction. You have to remember that these are top level athletes and they are monitored down to the millisecond. Yet inside the dressing room, inside the changing room, there is this subculture that is built on small tins and shared habits. It's not just nicotine, it's a community coping ritual. For me, it's kind of weird and interesting because if a player believes that snus gives them a focus boost, isn't that technically a form of performance enhancement? Because even though it's not banned by doping agencies, it is kind of unethical and it's in this weird grey area. Also, the fact that the habit is very much social means that it raises questions around peer pressure, role models, and the influence of older players on younger ones. And look, let's be honest, football has always had its off-the-field trends. You know, in the 70s, it was cigarettes. In the 90s, it was alcohols. In the 2000s, it was energy drinks or alleged escapades with grannies. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Snus just happens to be the latest trend that will probably be replaced with a new addiction in 5 years' time. And I'm putting my money on it being something AI related. The bigger question at hand is less about nicotine specifically and more about why players feel that they need to use snus in the first place. The fact that you have these top level athletes with personal chefs, PAs, therapists, wellness apps, the fact that they still feel like they need to reach for this tiny pouch, what does that say about the mental strain of modern day sport? Maybe football doesn't actually have a snus problem. Maybe it's just got a stress problem. And maybe, just maybe, the sachet under the lip tells us more about the sport than the ball at the feet. If you have made it to the end of this video, thank you very much. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe. And if you enjoyed this one, you might also like this one. So click here to watch it. Thank you very much once again, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.